Welcome back. All right. So while I was on the other set, I didn't end up doing an entertainment guy video. I will be doing entertainment guy videos from the other set now that we know that there's a way to make that work. Um, Mess around with pictures and whatnot, and yeah, make it work. So I wanted to talk about the final season of Letterkenny. It took me a while to get around to it, to be honest. The last couple of seasons of Letterkenny before this one were good, but not as memorable as the early seasons. And that's what happens. You have too many years, too many episodes, and eventually the ideas are still good, but maybe they're not as good as they were earlier on in the seasons. And I think Letterkenny definitely suffered that. I will say this final season, and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll keep this quick, and I'm really not going to spoil it. I felt like this season it told a story more than the last few seasons have. Now there was the pandemic season where you could tell everybody was just off in groups of twos or threes. Totally get it. That whole season was all just like little individual skits. It wasn't really as much cohesive episodes. This season felt very cohesive. It was good. Um, I thought the finale lacked a little something. Like the finale lacks some oomph. It did kind of reset the series in its finale. I think there are times where in the finale everybody just says goodbye and closes the doors, lights go out, and you're like, oh, well that's done. And it makes some sense to end a show that way, but I respect how this show decided they didn't go exactly in that direction. And so again, for anybody who hasn't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it, other than to say that I thought this season of Letterkenny was pretty darn good. I enjoyed the growth that the characters had shown over the seasons, and as weird as that sounds, it's kind of proven in that final episode that things were similar, but it really changed. And I thought that was great. The fleshing out of the degens was interesting because we've only heard about degens from Upcountry, and we haven't really got into much when it comes to the whole degen population. But yeah, I mean, other than the fact that, and both Yvonne and I noticed this, for a city that's 5,000 people, it's a very attractive female population they have in this town of 5,000 people. But again, it just it's part of the show's whole deal, and I did find it entertaining. I thought that I mean there could have been more Glenn. The other thing that's interesting too is you can tell that the actress who plays Tanis is expecting. Every scene with Tanis, she's sitting down, or behind a table, and she's almost always wearing black. And I thought, yeah, that's to hide the fact that she's expecting. So, and if not, I have no idea why she'd just be sitting there behind objects all the time and just sitting down all the time. Because Tanis, not that kind of character. There's, I think, one scene where she's standing up and they made sure they were only taking a shot of feet. And I say feet, not her feet, because we don't know if they were her feet because we never saw a face. So it could have been somebody else's feet. We just don't know. But it was very entertaining, comparatively speaking with previous seasons. I even went back today and watched the first two episodes of the first season. It's good. And one thing is that you can watch the series now to the end, to that final episode, and then you can go back and start over, and it kind of works. It kind of works. So I did like how they closed the loop on that. I was hoping to see more returning stars than what we saw in that final episode. And again, there was kind of a waiting for this big epic fight that didn't really happen. It kind of does, but kind of not at the same time. But maybe that's the idea too. It doesn't have to be this big epic fight at the end. And yeah, I enjoyed watching Derry go through the arc he went through, and it's nice to see the characters go through arcs in a season because they used to. The characters would change, the storylines would change, and this season they finally got that going again. So it's a lot of fun. The one distracting part I've found over the last couple of seasons is it's really obvious Stewart's wearing a wig, that the actor playing that part no longer has long hair, probably has no interest in having long hair, and why would he? So That's the one thing that kind of stands out to me is it's really obvious it's a wig, especially going back and watching the first two episodes today. I'm like, okay, that looks like real hair. Really makes it obvious with the wig, even more so, I thought. But you guys can let me know your thoughts. Again, I don't feel like I need to marinate on this one for that long, but it was fun, and it does kind of come full circle. So enjoyable. Yes, was it as good as the earlier seasons or as funny? Probably not. But again, once you get to, I think it's season 12, I mean, it can be tough to come up with that new material that feels really fresh, right? And still make it funny at the same time. So I thought they did a pretty good job. And my recommendation would be for people to watch it. It is the most Canadian show, period. And Shorzy's right there with it. Of course, Shorzy kind of in the news a little bit this week too because Terry Ryan, who plays Hitch on Shorzy, actually suited up at age 47 and played for the Newfoundland Growlers because Terry Ryan is a Newfoundlander. So the accent you hear in Letterkenny, that is 100% a Newfoundlander's accent. I have family in St. John's. There are times that I would be on. There were times when I was on the phone with them as a kid. I wouldn't understand very much. I might actually need to, kind of hold the phone out a little bit so that my mom or my dad could explain what the words were that were coming through the other end of the phone. Or I would just say, yeah, yeah, yep, oh, okay, because I had no idea. And the more excitable it gets, the more words and the harder it is to understand because they all kind of run together. But amazing people, the people of Newfoundland, and I think well represented by Terry Ryan on the show, Shorzy, and on the ice. I mean, hey, the guy dropped the gloves at age 47. That's insane. So, at any rate, let me know your thoughts if you watched the last season of Letterkenny. Hit like and subscribe. If you're just looking around the internet and you're like, hey, Shannon does other videos that aren't hockey related. Yep, I certainly do. Or just because you feel like it, hit the like and subscribe buttons. But thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.